Hi everyone, welcome to today's session. Uh, this is Ramanuj from Lawsikho, and we have Sandeep from Algo Legal as our guest today. Welcome, Sandeep.
Hey Ramanuj,
Hi
how are you?
everyone, welcome to today's session. Just a moment. This is Ramanuj from Law. Yeah, hi Sandeep. Yeah. Okay, so we are live here on Zoom as well as on YouTube channel. One thing is that anybody who wants to ask any question, you'll have to head over to Lawsikho's YouTube channel. There you'll find this live streaming of this current session, and you can post your questions there. We have disabled the chat function here in Zoom because of Zoom bombing. Okay, if anybody has any questions, do head over to Lawsikho's YouTube channel. You just have to go to YouTube and search for Lawsikho, and you will find the link. Okay, it's right there. If you just open the Lawsikho YouTube channel, you will find it right there on the top. It will not be difficult to find it, and we'll also share the link of the YouTube broadcast in all the WhatsApp groups so that anybody who wants to access can access it from there, and you can post the questions there. Okay, Bhavna, I know you're in the session. Please share the link with everybody in different uh, WhatsApp groups. Okay, so let's get started with that behind us. So, hi Sandeep, it's great to have you in the session, and we definitely want to hear more about Algo Legal to start with. It's a very unique law firm, and you are working on technology and legal technology for like providing services in a more uh, tech enabled way. So we'll learn more about what you're doing, but maybe you can start by telling us about yourself a little more, like where do you come from, how did you get into law, and what was the journey like?
Sure. Thank you, Ramanuj, and hi everyone. It's been, I think, almost a month. We are surviving in this lockdown and still looking very cheerful and you know, um, excited about the overall thing. So So about me, I'm Sandeep. I started my law firm Algo Legal last year. Before that, I was in-house with Sequoia Capital, and prior to that, with Intel Capital and multiple other in-house roles. So I'm into the business of law or practicing law as an in-house counsel. Have come out, and the solutions I was able to implement into some of those companies, or in my in-house journeys, what I think is what is the need of the hour. So I'm a law graduate, I'm a company secretary, I'm a chartered secretary from London, plus I've done multiple tech and legal design courses across the world. And law and technology is clearly my passion. And the journey started you know when I became in-house counsel for Intel in Bangalore, and prior to that, I was working in Luthra in Delhi, and I'm a law graduate from Delhi University. So it's only when I reached at Intel I realized that what is the importance of processes or technology, or what how we are doing the same thing, and how by just simple processes, standardization, and the workflows, the things start becoming very easy. Just to give you an example, in Intel, at any given point of time, there are 400 plus lawyers, but the first draft of non-disclosure agreement, they all know at a single point how to download it, and they all work it. So when you want to put a standardization into the documentation, that was one example. And then when we were talking about multiple other processes, whether it is M&A sessions, or acquiring the companies, because Intel also had an in-house fund, which is called Intel Capital. It was an off-balance sheet fund. So at Luthra, I was working in a M&A team, and I was also helping on multiple transactions. So from graduated in 1997, at that point of time, to say I'm a specialist venture capital lawyer, or I'm a labor lawyer, or XYZ, those specializations at that point of time were not kicking in. Although the law and the liberalization through 1991 law firms started coming in, but at those points, today I feel very excited when I'm taking an interview and someone says, I want to be an IP only lawyer, or I want to be, a competition practicing lawyer in the first year. I think those benefits are available now, but not at that point of time. I shifted from New Delhi, where I was practicing in Luthra, to Bangalore in 2005 to join Intel as their general counsel. And in 2010, moved to Sequoia. And last year, 2019, left Sequoia as their global director legal. I was first legal hire for Sequoia worldwide. So if just 2 3 minutes on Sequoia, it is one of the largest venture capital fund in the world. Uh, the distinction has to be made between venture capital fund and a private equity fund. So it is an early stage fund, Series A to all the way to Series C. Ticket size of now, because of the surge program and other program, ticket size from $1 million to all the way up to 15 to $20 million is what the sweet spot of the fund is. So I joined them in 2010 after spending 5 years at Intel, but always been running the practice of in-house in the mindset of a law firm or a lawyer, because I came from a law firm pedigree. So those qualities were very well instilled. And what I learned at Intel was a complete transformation by just bringing simple solutions, by just standardizing the processes, by just putting a checklist before everything that we do as a lawyer, how much the life become easy. And just to give you an idea, at Intel Capital in a year, I was handling 7 to 8 deals. But in Sequoia, first day itself, when I joined in 2010, I was given 35 deals on first day, single lawyer. While in Intel, I had my 4 to 5 member team. And here on first day, I was given 35 deals. And that's the volumes, and that's the tenacity with which Sequoia works. When I joined in 2010, Sequoia had raised three funds, about $1 billion of asset under management for India alone. So the distinction for Sequoia fund and some of the other funds you have to understand is that many funds have capital, but they take approval from headquarters in US and other ways. Whereas Sequoia team in India is so solid and sound, they got the dedicated funds for India alone. So when I joined, there were three funds, and after that, when I left in 2019, which is last year, there were six funds, and seventh fund is all was already under consideration, and multiple top of funds. So starting from 35, 40 portfolio companies when I left Sequoia, with exits, with restructuring, with expansion into various countries, I had done more than 3,500 transactions for Sequoia and for Intel Capital. When I say
Wow.
transaction, it includes
Okay.
Series A, Series B, exit rounds, restructurings, IPO in more than 18 countries. So, but the entire work was done by me and my team from Bangalore. The first in-house legal team member I hired on Sequoia platform was in 2014. When I joined Sequoia was in 2010. For 4 years, I was running the ship pretty much on my own. And on an average in a year, Sequoia was doing 150 to 200 transactions on multiple platforms and multiple things. Now
So
it was.
didn't you hire outside lawyers for this?
Yeah, so we work with multiple outside lawyers, and we work with AZBs, Amachans, we work with everyone, because the model was that I will standardize the practice, I will write my own clauses and the documents, I'll standardize them, but I will work with multiple partners, because Ramanuj, it was impossible for a single lawyer to manage 30 deals on a given day. But one rule was very cardinal, that all the negotiations will happen from my own platform. So these law firms were trained to log in into my data rooms. These law firms were trained to send the documents in a format that I had already prescribed. For each document, there was a backend template they had to fill in, so that my job was easy. The practice in the market was, people were, if I send you a draft, you will mark up and send it back to me. And I said that, this is not a time efficient manner. What we need to do is, let's just take out the clauses. If in a document 80% of the document is agreeable, why we keep circulating the document? So we abstracted what we now call an issue list. We made a template of that, and only issue list used to
Okay.
circulate between the lawyers. And that's where the comments and the live comments were given, and we were able to expedite the deals on a much faster pace.
Right. That's an innovation. That's great. Okay. So when you started Algo Legal, what were you thinking? Like, after so many years of working at Sequoia, I think 8 9 years, right?
9 years.
And 9 years, yeah. And after that, of course, you are an accomplished lawyer. You have done so much, so many thousands of deals. But why after that start your own law firm? Because
Yeah, so I think that's a very interesting question, and honestly, I keep asking myself the same question again and again. Like every time, tons of in-house opportunities are coming up with that experience in Singapore and everything. The answer was very simple. I wanted to transform the legal sector completely. And when you're working somewhere,
Hmm.
you may have aspirations, and Sequoia did one of the best things they could have ever done to anyone by giving me all the tools which are required. in 2015 end, I was able to get 8 engineers seconded from various tech companies as part of the in-house legal team so that experiments can start. Sequoia paid for them also. But what
Right.
happens, Ramanuj? When you work for someone, there is always a limitation to what you can say, what you cannot say. For example, a session like this, I need a prior approval from someone in the system that if I'm making an external communication, this is going to be my pitch and this is what they need to ratify. And having done it so many times, many of my friends left Sequoia, they started their own funds. I've been working with multiple founders, but what I was not able to do, I was not able to transform the things end to end. And that's the only way you can do is when you come out and you become the controller of the thing. For example, the team in another law firm which was working for me, they are
Hmm.
going to use the tools, but are they going to use it just because of me, or they are going to use as a process? That was not happening.
Right.
And I thought this is a right time to create a hybrid structure where I can go for a law firm where I will control the processes and I will use the tools, and I will also integrate the workflow of the lawyers through those tools. And that was the main reason of coming out. Second reason was, when you have done for 9 years and before that 5 years at Intel, if I've done a venture capital and private equity work, you can wake me up in the middle of the morning and I can tell you row for whatever reps, warranties, the documentation, the early stage deals. And we are working, Algo is working a lot in, today Algo is working a lot in Singapore market. We are already signed with the lawyers in Singapore market. And as I said, so we are still very close friends and partners. We are working with them. We are handling some of their processes. But in less than 9 months, if you see venture intelligence report this morning, last quarter we are number five law firm in the country on the number of deals in just 9 months. Because my ecosystem reach and my friends who are there, they were there. That was number two. Number three, I also wanted to work end to end for the companies. On Sequoia side, we were only investor, and here I wanted to work for the company side, for the founder side also, because I believe when a term sheet comes, what founders understand, the gap is so much, and law firms by design were not explaining them because the market is skewed only towards funds. But when you're representing founders, it is very important thing to go to them and talk to them. And fourth thing we are doing at Algo is we are incubating early stage legal tech companies. I have also started my own legal technology company out of Singapore. It is
Hmm.
called Quant Legal Tech. So the model is very clear. Here is a law firm. It is sourcing technology from a legal tech company, which is from Singapore, and that company is already funded. So this strategy, end-to-end strategy, was completely designed by me in 2017, and that's the time when I started discussing that I have to come out. Plus, my team was getting ready. Siddharth Rao, who has taken over as Sequoia General Counsel, is the kid who joined me in 2013-14, and he
Right.
was ready to take over the mentorship. So world is so big, that was a time to come out and do my own entrepreneurship.
Right. Right. Sure. After working on so many deals, you feel like doing something yourself. Uh, if you there are few people who are complaining that they're saying that sound is not coming through very. I can hear you very clearly though, but if there's anything you can do to increase the sound, just see. I mean, I'm not sure.
Is it better? I don't know. Can you hear it? Any difference? I can come much closer if that makes sense.
Yeah, some people are saying it's low on Zoom. I don't know what's happening, but actually I can hear you very clearly. So I am on Zoom also, so I'll go ahead with however it is. So okay, so so Sandeep, so when you started, like, what were the initial hiccups? Like, usually, what you think something and you start and something else happens. So what some of those moments for you? Like, what when once you started?
So I think multiple moments, because I thought before starting itself, I went deeper. I was in Los Angeles, where there is a legal tech consulting company called
Mhm.
1400. They have also designed our website. And I thought that, the process which I've learned, that if I teach lawyers like this simple steps, step one, two, three, how to go to technology, people will be very excited. So
Right.
when we started on day one, we were 55 lawyers on first day itself, six
Hmm.
partners, and
Hmm.
under partners teams in three cities. I think the first learning was that we wanted to make experiment at all bases, which was, I think, was not a right design of making the transformation. And there were a lot of frustrations coming up in the beginning that technology is ready, why you're not using it. So I think what we learned was that we need to create a layer of operating partners in between. We need to create operating agents or people who are the process managers, who are neither lawyers not the technology people, but let's say in our world these are paralegals who are trained on processes, or people who are working in LPOs who understand that now, they may not be great lawyers, but they understand what in law is required to be translated into technology. So that's one team we created, which is innovation team, which initially was not there, but we created. So now lawyers are dealing with their deals, but at the same time, someone is telling them that this part of your deal can be outsourced to us as a department, and we can bring in technology and give you results. So this, when we started, we thought lawyers on their own can go on to technology, not because they don't want to go, but the design and the process, that layering was very important. Number one. Number two, when we thought that, when you're working for 9 years and multiple founders ecosystem, you think things will be very easy, but you again have to explain. First question, why did you leave? And second question, what proposition are you offering us? So, going to the market and pushing yourself out of the comfort zone, because being director legal for Sequoia at a level where I was, it was, I mean, say, very easy for me to continue in that role for next 10, 15 years. But then coming out of your eco zone or comfort zone and going out of the market, that was another learning which was there. And then came the, as an in-house, your expectations are different, but when you're now service provider, the speed, agility, and the quality, now you're becoming on the other side, which is not an easy transition after working for
Right.
20, 21 years in-house. But that's the transition I've gone through, and now it's very easy. But the mindset, as I told you, as in-house was always as if I'm running the best law firm in-house. That helped me to kind of come out and start the thing. And I'm very fortunate to have a great team working with me. So some amazing partners under them, amazing team members. So I think those were the few difficulties which were there initially.
Right. If you can give me some idea about what are the areas in which you have been doing automation, like you said that you have an innovation team and they're identifying areas where the automation can be brought in. If you can throw some light on that.
Yeah. So I think let's just talk about a normal VC deal, right? A term sheet, starting from a term sheet which comes up, then the documentation comes, then the diligence comes. So what we have done is we have started plugging all the tech. There are four basic technologies which work. One is your data rooms, other is your due diligence engines, third is your document management systems, and fourth is your post deal transaction management. So the basic innovation we have done here is that we have started integrating the workflows on that. Just to give you an example, client X, the term sheet is already standardized and it has been put on a contract management engine. Instead of drafting that term sheet again and again, you go to that technology. On a right hand side is a form. Now, in a term sheet or in any document, there are only 5, 6 variable fields. Company name is Lawsikho. Amount of investment is $5 million. Founder is Ramanuj XYZ. Once we do that, we press the button, the term sheet is automatically generated. So that is happening across the board in our law practice. That this is one innovation we have done for early stage deals. Um, we have now entered into the standardization how the first cut of the document will be generated. Now let's say the deal has come from a pharmaceutical sector. So already the compliance engine, which is ready with us, we don't need to ask the companies that what all is the checklist. We go to compliance engines and we give certain parameters. Company is 3 year old. It is located out of Bangalore, and XYZ 6 questions we answer. Whatever is applicable to that company in India, we are able to find out within no time at all, without even asking the company. So when we are
Right.
sending the
Right.
checklist, we are able to plug the checklist like this. And when the term sheet is signed, the contract management engine has read the term sheet, and the first cut of shareholders agreement and share subscription agreement is auto generated with minor tweaks and all. So what other law firms are taking 2 to 3 days to generate one share subscription agreement or shareholders agreement, we are able to do because of the base input of the term sheet was same with minor tweaks. Those documents are generated very, very quickly. And once the deal is over, please understand all these documents are all on cloud. So today, when we are working at home, all 55 of lawyers of ours, and we are working on 40, 50 transactions right now in the firm. All of us are not having any difficulty because each and every document, deal by deal basis, is on cloud. So,
Right.
client X, and we are also now integrating a dashboard. For example, when I'm working with you on multiple transaction, we have this client who gives us 5 to 6 term sheets every month. So that client just need to log in. If you today also go to Algo Legal's website, there is
Mhm.
a subscription link attached. So you just log in into that page. Whatever we are doing with you, you can check on the live basis also. So
Hmm.
those are
Hmm.
the changes, and I can go deeper and deeper into
I mean, that's a
concepts.
very good customer experience that they can actually see what's going on. Mhm.
Absolutely. And what we want to do, we want to be the first subscription-based law firm in Southeast Asia, meaning thereby whatever workflows are happening, you want to engage us, just go to our website and you can say fundraising, fund deployment, employment issue, whatever it is, which we are standardizing. For example, for multiple founders, we have incorporated companies completely free of cost. They come to our LinkedIn page. We do these sessions with founders in Bangalore. They come to our pages, they dump their document on our links, and we are able to create multiple companies, and we are able to start companies for them completely free of cost. Because I feel that a process which is as basic as company incorporation, other than complications which come up, we can do some incorporations in a month free of cost. And if you now go to our website, complete startup kit, what a company need in the first stage, second stage, third stage, employment agreements, all of them are free of cost. They're all linked there. People can download. In fact, our community is helping us. They are saying that this is becoming like a very important practice. And there, so we are
Right.
standardizing and we are using a lot of these technologies into the process.
Mhm. This is amazing. Like, we had seen many years back, Rocket Lawyer coming up with this kind of formats, and do it yourself, and do it. In fact, do it yourself in law is like a major movement and major trend in USA also. We haven't seen any of that in India, but what you say, in a way, I think it's there's a parallel with do it yourself. People solving their own issues and generating their own agreements also may become possible this way. Of course, law firms can be a lot more efficient, and even cost of legal services can come down this way. One question I have though is that if you can tell a little more about when you say tech-enabled law firms. So this is one side of it, is that where the processes are automated as far as possible, and a lot of the work is happening a lot faster. But if this happens, and given where do you see the opportunity to create a subscription based service? Like, is this something that the client is going to do themselves, or the lawyer is doing, depending on how many transactions you will have? Of course, you still have some manual input costs, right? There will be lawyers working on the deals. So how does the subscription system work really?
Yeah, I think subscription system, when I say, let's say a transaction where a company is raising $1 million, company is 2 years old. And in my case, if diligence also is to be done, those things can be done very, very quickly. So subscription based, I mean, when a company incorporation has to be done. So Ramanuj, wherever there is a standardization possible, the stages. So if you take any investment, and I'm talking about venture capital investment, series A kind of an investment, I believe 90% of the process is repetitive. So when the process is repetitive, for
Totally
us
agree. Yeah.
to provide standard documents at each stage through our technology, when you
Hmm.
log in into our website, through login you go to our dashboard. From a dashboard, you are able to go to the tools. You will say generate a term sheet, as you said DIY.
Hmm.
You can, any client today with simple steps can generate their own term sheet. So you will say series A term sheet I want to generate. You will say early stage. You will also pick up the amount. It's a 2.5 crore investment or 5 crore investment or 50 crore investment. So when you pick up those kind of amounts, you are also being given an automatic workflow. So you can start filling up the information. Now, if you need a lawyer, for example, founder doesn't know what is a liquidation preference, which is a overrated term. So they don't know what is 1x liquidation preference or what is 2x. Obviously, the lawyers are available there and they are going to help it. So the opportunity I see, to your point here, is that in-house team in the clients can also use these things to backend. Because when today, if you see, if we make a triangle, very clear triangle, earlier in-house team were dependent only on the law firms.
Right.
Now a new field is coming up. This new field is called alternate legal service provider, ALSPs.
Right. Right.
So law firms are also digging into ALSPs. In-house teams are also digging into ALSPs, and in-house teams are telling law firms that these technologies and tools are there in the market. When you're giving me services, make sure that you have the cost includes the using of these tools. In fact, California Bar Association today is writing a paper. It would have published by now. Because of COVID, it got stayed, that if these kind of technologies are available, it is expected on the lawyers to now serve their clients by using technology and give their rates accordingly. So that's the opportunity I'm seeing. Because if you see, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, there was a different set of tech. The technology as on its own, whether it is NLP, artificial intelligence, it's all coming up. So when tech is coming up, healthcare professionals are using it, finance professionals are using it, lawyers are also using it. And that's the opportunity I saw after
Yeah.
doing multiple tech deals, that this is how we can bring it into the legal field.
Great, great, of course. So I understand, but I'm just trying to understand if you're saying that, venture capital deals, a lot of them can be done entirely through this DIY mode, and you don't require a lawyer except to explain something that the founder doesn't know.
No, no, no. I said that is one piece of the process on documentation, but the
Okay,
delivery, when you
right.
hire
So after that, you'll have negotiation where the lawyers will step in.
so lawyers also now need to up their game. They have to upskill themselves by, you know, it's not a choice anymore, I believe, in 2 years' time, because clients are already exposed to multiple technologies.
Right, right,
They will say that if I XYZ firm is giving me a draft, or I can generate a draft on my own in 45 minutes to 1 minute, 1 hour, why you are taking that kind of time, right? So
right.
there is no more choice. So today lawyers have to upskill themselves. So when I started my legal practice, I was always dependent on one Mr. Unni Krishnan, who was secretary in the department, who had a password in his ear that how to open a Microsoft Word. And
Hmm.
he was the most important person in the legal department, because typing used to happen through one Mr. Unni Krishnan. But that thing has gone. We are using our laptop, my laptop as at home. All of us, so many of the people, I think I can see 99 participants already there, and we are all logged in into this. So I
Yep.
don't think we have a choice anymore. And especially in last 45 days, and what is going to happen in next 3 months or 4 months, tech is going to become such an integral part of all of us that there is no more choice which is available. Processes will be done wherever. So if you divide lawyer's life in three pieces, one is process. Let's start with the knowledge.
Right.
There's a knowledge, there is a process, and third is lawyering. What is lawyering? Interpreting a client, how this litigation issue in a company looks like, what is the underlying risk or a non-compliance which has happened in the company. What so those interpretation your technology or AI engine will never say. They can never nuance based practice which will come up when you have to give your opinion to someone. Like today, a client reached, he said, "Can I do wage cuts across the board?" Technology cannot tell that. But if you want to check what is the law relating to wage cut, the circulars which have come, technology can summarize that for you. So I believe knowledge and process, 80 to 90% today is completely can be outsourced to technology. But the lawyering piece, you need to go into in depth. And that's where lawyer's role is always available, because your principals, that is the fund manager, is not going to close a deal or give $1 million without meeting their lawyer on the other side.
Right. Definitely. So what challenges are you facing in implementing this? I'm sure sometimes lawyers would not be used to working on these models, and then you'd have other challenges, and maybe some pushback from clients also. Maybe there will be some other challenges. So what's the experience till now?
Yeah, as I said, I think training the lawyers is one big challenge which we are facing. But because there is a work, we have started with a extremely good work speed. So our team is, putting in extra hours to get into the work processes and finish off the things. Plus, we have our training goals also. But also the third thing is, it is very easy to blame all of us as lawyers that we are not tech savvy. But I
Hmm.
have been challenging all these tech companies. Can you give me one integrated product? Like I go to Zoom, whatever I need to get out of Zoom, whether I want to record the call, whether I want to link it with YouTube, it serves my purpose. So unless there is one single point login for the lawyers where they go in, they can source their litigation problems, they can solve their contract problems, they can solve. So today there is a cluster of products. There is a
Of
very
course.
good
Hmm.
contract management product, there is a very good compliance product. So in a day when I'm working on my desk as a lawyer and I have to do deliverables, I'm expected to log in, log out, and these
Yeah.
are being run by multiple companies. So I think biggest challenge is the integrated product suite which is required to be given to the lawyers, which they can then use and make their life easy. When we use Microsoft package, right? Outlook, Excel, Word, all of them are getting used in one single source only.
Yeah.
In my in
Mhm.
my operating system itself is taking care of that. So the need of the hour is to create a legal operating system which serves all the requirements.
Mhm. So are you looking to create that through your legal technology?
So already work is on. We have 6 engineers who are creating. It's a confidential project, so I'm not revealing too many things. But by August first week, we are launching it. So anyone, if you go, because I'm very true to my purpose, I'm working for venture capital funds, private equity funds, and companies who are raising capital end to end for that. That is my focus area. So what we are creating will serve 80 to 85% of the problem in the first shot, and then eventually it will start going up. And what is the biggest piece where the automation is so simple? I just ask this question to everyone. People make it very complicated, right? They think, oh, AI is required, machine learning is required. See, the basic thing, what do you think is the basic thing which is missing, which can make life of the lawyer so easy? What is your view on that?
So I think communication, like there's a lot of time wasted through delay in communication and things be not getting missed out or not understanding and cross checking, proofreading for that matter. So they're basic things. I think if communication could be improved and it could be streamlined, that makes a big difference.
And when we did the survey, the biggest problem which came out was storage, because
Oh,
everything was stored into different disks, C drives and D drives.
no.
And today, with just 1,000 rupees per month, there are amazing customized India legal based customized data room solutions which are available, which lets you store tons and tons of documents. For example, a real estate document will go into real estate folder, transaction documents will go into that. And that is, believe, is it does not require any training or anything, but it is the biggest automation you can do. And especially during the time when you have loads of free time not commuting, you can all go online and you can store your departments or your team's document in a very in a systemic manner. So that's the very basic automation we talk about. And
Mhm.
everyone in our firm has a SharePoint where in the cloud documents get stored. So meaning thereby it is not now subject to Sandeep is available or not, or in my team XYZ is available or not. Those who are working on that project can go there and do the integrated approach.
Understood. So how do you look like? Like what are the current outlook or for you to grow your farm? Like what are the challenges you expect in the times to come? What are the challenges you're already trying to solve? And where would the growth come from?
I think growth will come with more tech innovation. We are already working. As I said, I've started my own legal tech company. There are 25 engineers and 8 company secretaries slash chartered accountants and lawyers who are working. That is one. But that alone is not going to solve the problem. The ecosystem has to build up. I think growth will also come by going to the grassroots level. You will be surprised what is the percentage of law courses which are teaching technology as a subject in the law school, right? 5 year program.
Mhm.
You will be shocked. It is 0.001%. And this is not India, this is around the world, right?
Right. Mhm.
NUS in Singapore has a program where I go and teach this thing. Waterloo University in Canada has a program where I go and teach some of these things. But these courses are very minimal. So this transformation, if it is not happening, because if law schools are not instilling the need of technology into the law school students, they are not going to understand and they are going to be left far, far behind. So change from the grassroots level ecosystem is the second challenge I see. Now, look, I may create a product end to end. When I'm sharing my document, the other lawyers and law firms are saying, you please send us an email. Whereas
Mhm.
I tell them, if by this simple login you go into a live login into the tool, whatever changes clause by clause you need to make, imagine on the left hand side is a document, on the right hand side is a box. So you can type that, can we make this change? I can reply on a live. So the live chats which is there are already getting created. But
Right.
now the third challenge is for others in the ecosystem. to accept that, yes, let's just work efficiently. Because as you know, our clients accuse us always, and I come from an in-house background, that lawyers charge for inefficiency. This is what I'm telling my ecosystem partners and friends, that gone are the days when you guys can make premium out of inefficiencies.
Right, right.
In-house teams are also constrained with budgets. Solutions are coming to them today. Tons of work is happening where my teams, as I said, sitting in Bangalore for Sequoia, we were able to control law firms in 18 countries, right?
Hmm.
Because of the tech engines, because of the cloud, the email system and other things are used very minimalistically. So that is exactly what I'm trying to say here. That is a challenge today, but I again can see very clearly, as you said, opportunity. You fast forward 2 3 years, people will start working on these collaborative tools. The collaboration which we are seeing today in COVID times is going to become the norm of the market in the future.
Hmm. Yeah, right. Even also, we have seen in after 2008-9, companies really wanted to cut their legal costs, and so I think that would happen. Like if there are solutions which are creating efficiency, then even chances of adoption in such time is higher. Uh, uh, what's your like you have built a very large team very quickly. So what's the experience on that? Like how do you build culture? How do you manage such a large team? Even I'm sure you are also learning as you go to manage a farm. And how is this happening? It has been only about 9-10 months, I believe. So how has it been so far? And what's the experience on that?
I think one very good thing I did, and I tell and share the story with many people. I was employee number one. Employee number two was a gentleman called Dhruv, who came from investment banking background. He
Okay.
was next to me.
Hmm.
So, I left Sequoia on 31st March of 2019. On 1st April itself, I was with Dhruv, and he and I started strategizing what kind of teams we need, what kind of models we need to create here. And when you get a person who is a strategist, who's a business person into law, I think that really changed a lot of things for us. Now what happens is, we people always feel that, oh, to use a word business of law is bad, because we are into pro bono service. It's
We are
not.
a noble profession.
Yeah, that noble profession. I think, guys, things have changed. If you look at UK and Singapore, today they have allowed that 25% of the capital of the law firm can come from non-lawyers. So the kind of venture capital deals, the kind of investments which are happening there, the regulators there are realizing that this thing cannot work out, that we are a noble profession, therefore we don't need capital, therefore we don't need money. In automatic way, law firm will keep running. That's not the way. You need to structure the law firms according to that. And look, I'm not from a law firm background. I've been in-house. So there are struggles when I keep asking one question: am I meeting all the requirements of my team members? Am I doing whatever is required to be done for them? And when you come as an outsider into a law firm circle, there are many times, when I'm explaining for hiring more talent, I'm explaining the concept. Many people may not be what you call believing in that concept, because they think, oh, he has always been in house. So those are the challenges. But good part is, I still work 18 to 19 hours on my own in a day. So I still work onto my own transactions, I draft my own documents, and so is my team. So I think we all understand, and we are super super blessed to have great team and also great work. Today, we are working with around 35 to 50 funds on any given point of time. We are working with 80 plus companies who have raised their Series A capital. So, those strategies are working out in a very different way. The challenges are there. Explaining to, if I want to go and pitch for a good partner whom I really want to get on board, it
Right.
will take us some time to build up that, goodwill and brand and people to understand. But it's been 9 months. So, I want to change things, just in less than 2 hours, but that is not possible. So the biggest learning for me is slow down. You also have to, take a lot of things in your stride and let the things play out on their own. So that's where the challenges and learnings are. And to your point, yes, every half an hour there is a new learning based on a new email which comes in, which I thought will be done in a particular way, but things start changing from there.
Right. What's your view on impact of COVID on the venture capital market?
Yeah, so it definitely is going to impact. What you can see is that investments have already gone down. It's too early, but if you see the trend and all, about 30 to 40% processes have been stopped so far. other than 2 deals out of 35 deals, nobody said the deal is off. We are just being asked to go slow to see the things. But what I see is, uh, there are going to be new sectors which are going to emerge, right? There are Nikhil, last time on one of your sessions, Nikhil touched upon from JSA, healthcare sector, the finance sector. You raised a question on banking. So I think a lot of these fintech companies are going to struggle. So whenever there is a struggle in venture capital world, if the investment has gone, there is a threshold which is called anti-dilution protection, meaning thereby if the valuation drops down from the valuation at which a venture capital came in, so a new process will come up. So I think the impact will be there. It will take at least 1 quarter to 2 quarter for people, for the things to get settled down. I completely agree with what Nikhil said, that vaccine has to be found out for people to get comfort. Because what are the external indicators? Today, we don't know whether second crop, when you open up on May 2nd or 3rd, the second crop of coronavirus will hit you or not. It's all sentiment driven. You said very nicely in that session that yes, there is a liquidity available. And I'm telling you, if you see the fundraising activity of last 1 year, $14 billion got raised for India investment alone last 12 months. They're all sitting on that kind of money. But if you are a fund manager, at what stage you will start deploying that fund is something, unless there is no clear cut guidelines which comes in, impact will be there. But for lawyers, tons of opportunities are there. Amendments of agreements are happening, helping the startups to, standardize certain documents, start preparing the investment strategies. Lot of these VCs, instead of giving $4 5 million, are happy to give you half a million, 1 million, to come out of this current
To
crisis,
bridge the gap.
to bridge the gap, right? So this bridge financing, which is happening, there is an opportunity for lawyers to standardize, go to the companies or their funds and say, this is a standard document. And if you see the Companies Act amendment, which has happened, the right issue and the private placement, those things are already getting shorter time duration. So those opportunities are there. But the current circular which has come up, which said that investment from China is now prohibited, not prohibited, but it is under FDI route. You need prior approval. Is completely going to put the entire structure. It is the double impact of that particular thing is going to be noticed now, because if you see on a scale, what are the countries from which maximum foreign capital was coming? US and Mauritius route and all, but a lot of capital was coming from China. There are 100% Chinese holding companies in India. It is
Hmm.
severely going to impact that. Unless government comes up and puts some more timelines or say follow-on investment is okay, some thresholds are okay. I think this HDFC investment by a Chinese firm, 0.75% stake in HDFC, has really spooked up the thing. And you mentioned about the mergers which are happening about Italy by Chinese company is
Right,
what
right.
safeguard and the door closing which is happening by the Indian authority. So there will be impact, but for lawyers, every situation, I've gone through 5 recessions, so I just see a very different kind of opportunities will keep emerging, through this recession.
So there are a lot of companies which are doing really well because they're providing emergency services, or they're catering to some essential services or healthcare where they really need. I mean, right now, their I would say their valuation is going up. So what's happening to those companies? Are they finding it possible to raise money because they need to expand faster? So what are you seeing deals of that nature?
Absolutely. One of our client, it's a reported deal, so I can say MedGenome, which is into biogenomes in this market, which are doing tests. They
Hmm.
just managed to close their $44 million round. It is a
Right.
massive deal, and you can see there are private equity investors from US invested, and we represented company, and we also represented early stage investors in that company. And that entire deal happened in 28 days. $44 million in one company has been invested. So again, because the sector was meeting the requirement of the times, it is happening. So if your company is fast growing, look, people are sitting on capital and their role is to expand. If I raise a capital from an investor and I return, if I raise 100 rupees and I return 100 rupees back, that is not my thing. I have to multiply. I
Right.
think chase the thing. You please go through the analysis of 2008. How
Mhm.
many private equity and venture capital investments happen? There are multiple good books available, which are good precedents of what will happen if certain. See, we don't know because this is a new situation, but there are certain common parameters which can be seen. For example, if NPAs are at this, this is what is happening. There are correlated theories between economics and the geopolitical systems. If you underline those trends and if you go and watch the trends, there are enough precedents. I am now reading books from 1918 recessions, when those kind of depression came in, what happened. I'm
Mm.
finding my own clues, and when we read the news around us, there are a lot of these hidden signals or signs which you can decipher, and you can start understanding what will happen. And it's on to people and risk. Venture capital is risk prone, right? So that money will always change, but businesses are going to be monitored very carefully. The steps people are taking in this time, how uh, I mean, say, sorry to say, like when people are asking for salary cuts and think how nicely they are managing their current limited resources, is also a study which is being done by investors right now, and how people will come out of it, how quickly they can come out of it in a robust manner. All these things will be tested in this time.
Right. So since we don't know, like, how long this problem would be, and how long this would take to. So what? How do you see lawyers who wanted to work in venture capital, who are working in venture capital? How do are they placed? And also, since you're a tech-enabled law firm, I just wanted to know how you look at work from home and internship from home, for that matter.
Yeah, so I think we already have three interns who are, in fact, one of them came on board just 2 days after the lockdown, and
Hmm.
my colleague Ravina is dealing with that intern and going through the process. How does lawyers who are working in venture capital world are going to do? They are all becoming. Some of them are doing creative work where they are going back with their existing documents which are there and going back to their clients and saying that if A happens, B should be the strategy. If B happens, C should be the strategy. So, this proactive strategy for your clients. One thing which Algo believe, and that comes from my in-house mindset, is that a transaction is not over till the time my stakeholders have achieved their result. Meaning thereby, if I represented a fund has achieved an exit after 8 years or 9 years, or if I represented a company for that transaction, company is compliant, kosher, and it is giving full information to the stakeholder. So Algo journey continues because our is a platform-based journey where we put these tools. Once deal is over, our compliance engine takes over. Our board meeting management solutions take over in those companies. So we continue with the journey and we call our practice from term sheet to exit. It is that workflow we have created. So I see, it all depends upon, you can become negative in this environment. What will happen to my job? Some law firms have already started cutting down salaries and other things, freezing bonuses. I don't see that Algo, at least for 5 to 6 months, is going to do that, because we are seeing an opportunity in a different way. But I think creativity is definitely important. If we feel that, oh, it's not normal. I don't know. I've never been at my place for more than 2 days or 3 days. I travel about 10 days in a month to different places. A itself is not normal. So what are we doing in these circumstances? How we are creating new solutions? How we are going back to our clients? I think that's the thing which is going to work out. And a lot of VCs are asking questions. A lot of startups are asking questions. Our teams are handling tons and tons of questions. We have launched a Algo Legal COVID helpline. We are getting 7 to 8 queries free of cost every day. We are helping them to answer that. So I think that next steps, every lawyer has to undertake that, and that's when the things will start looking better.
Right. Uh, any thoughts on how, like, of course, like, a lot of people are struggling to get jobs because there are not too many offers being made. There are people who are looking for internships whose internships has been cancelled. So what is your advice to them? How can they go about that?
Yeah, I think keep trying. I know so many law firms which are looking to hire right now also in this market. We are also open to hire in certain skill set. We are looking
Okay.
to hire 7 to 8 people. We definitely need 4 or 5 interns. Bhavna, and you have my email ID. Please send us the resumes. Please post
Sure,
it
sure.
on our
We'll do.
website. We have a job portal. Please post it. I know my friends who are looking to hire good interns. So
Mhm.
Ramanuj, we have to think positive. And my request to all the lawyers on this call is that please think positive. Don't assume no unless there is not a no, right? This is the old college girlfriend theory. I like the girl. I wanted to say, propose, but I never proposed. So my friend said, go, and she will say no. And that is no, it's not that happened to me. I have that analogy. Apply, guys. Nothing stops. But what will happen when you introduce yourself? All the CVs come to our platform. We talk to people. If nothing, you will get an opportunity to talk to some of the lawyers who are there in our ecosystem and work with. We are already
Sure.
working with Vahura to up our team in Mumbai, Delhi. We are seeing it in a very different way. So please apply with your skill set. Of course, our skill set are very clear what we are looking forward to. So on our LinkedIn page, Algo Legal LinkedIn page, all these vacancies are already posted.
Right. If you can just tell us a little bit about your, like what do you think are the skills that lawyers now need to develop? Because you are building a technology firm for the future, and we can imagine that many law firms would also adopt these kind of approaches in the future. And what do you think, the law students and lawyers, how should they take advantage of this? How should they train themselves?
Yeah. So I think again the rules are same. Upskilling, which is there on a day when a normal day is there, you're going to offices, you're helping your client, but still there is always that new skills you need to learn. Uh, Udemy and multiple online education portals are giving tons of courses free of cost, which
Hmm.
normally they charge 5,000 rupees, 8,000 rupees. Unacademy has multiple courses online, so please learn these courses. And one big
Don't
skill,
forget Lawsikho. We are also a legal education
yeah,
company.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the one thing which is clearly required as an upskill in this time is technology. I'm
Right.
not saying you need to become coders. Many people ask me, do we need to do coding? No, you don't need to do coding, but you need to know how to use the tools. Depending upon if you are a litigating lawyer, what are the new tools and practices which have come up? There are free apps. See, by just downloading an app and looking at a software is not going to help. The limitation or resistance you have to pick up some documents and dump it on them is something you have to come out of this phase. You have to start testing technology by reading about it, by just going to YouTube is not the thing. Put your hand dirty into technology. Guess what? Nothing will come outside from technology which will choke your hand. Put some documents which are never going to get spoiled. Like there is no bomb which is going to explode by using the tools. And you go to these tech companies, legal tech companies, they are happy to talk to you right now. They are also sitting free and they want to entertain you. You ask for 30 days free trial on these tools, they are happy to give you. So tech upskilling is very, very important in this time. And again, I'm underlining the word, this generation will not get this kind of free time again in their lifetime, right? Because even if a virus is going to come up, the scientists are also going to up their game and they will now understand how to block it in a different thing. So use this time. Second thing, you always wanted to become change in career. You wanted to go into competition law from, property law or XYZ thing. This is the best time to start talking to people who are in those practice, because many of them are waiting that someone should come and talk to them because work in certain areas has gone up, right? So go and talk to those professionals, approach on LinkedIn. You will be surprised how happy people are there to help each other, because generally people are feeling very humble, very grounded. All the boundaries or the personas which were created around people all have melted down. Everyone is ready and willing to talk to everyone because they have realized that this is a very different time in the mankind's life which is happening here. So that is second thing they can do. And third thing is write down, guys, any thoughts which you have, please write down. And you there are blogs, there are things which you can do, collaborate. We are collaborating with a litigating firm on multiple aspects as a corporate firm. So just collaborate and write down, publish things, attend webinars, learn with people. If you like a particular speaker, approach them separately and start doing one-on-one sessions. Yeah, I mean, so there is no limitation. I see things very different. I can already see a beautiful world is going to emerge, and lawyers as a professionals, if they're upskilling their things, they are going to come up as much more founded thing. And the one biggest complaint I always have from all the lawyers is their business knowledge. So guys, your Economic Times is free now online. Mint is free online. Please read these papers. Please try to relate yourself to these basic things. Two magazines which I've been reading for last 20 years and it has helped me is Economist and Wired.
Right.
Wired is all about tech, and Economist is like basically it gives you world view in just 56, 60 pages. So just instill these habits.
Right. Great. There are a few questions. I think we can take some questions that have already come through. There's a question about how is maker checker managed in this tech-based documentation documents and term sheets. What is maker checker? I don't know if you know.
Maker checker is that
Ah,
I'm making and someone is checking it. What are the checks and balances that you have? It is very clear, as I said,
mhm.
tool, when the tool is getting designed, if your inputs are very correct, the requirement of a checker goes down because you have tested the tool in so many times. What comes out of the tool, because already so much of input has gone into it, and it's not only a tech team which has created a tool, it's the lawyers who are using it and creating it. And they, before we launch it to the public, we do multiple testing. So, A, the requirement is very low, yet the input will come first to the law firm lawyer. He or she will read it and then only will pass. But the amount of time which was taking to that particular person in checking the thing, they know what areas. So, as I said, only 5 areas required to be done. When the term sheet come, those 5 areas are highlighted in yellow only, already by the tool. So the requirement
Got
is
it.
very, very less.
Got it. There's a question on can take be incorporated in courts considering there's human effort and evaluation required while arguing at the time of passing judgments? Any country you know which is using AI in litigation and in courts? This is why Mania.
Yes. So first, yes, tech can be used in courts, and if you're reading and you're updating yourself, Supreme Court and various high courts with Vidhi, which is policy NGO in Bangalore, have already started that initiative. My humble request to all of you is follow this author called Richard Susskind. He has his son Daniel Susskind has published a book, Online Courts and Online Judiciary. This is a very, very important book which all of you should read. So in Sweden, in Switzerland, parts of various circuit courts in US, there is a tool which Kira has started, whereas you give the proposition and you get an opinion for the court from out of it. So whether the end-to-end negotiation and process is happening on courts today across the board, no. Whether it will happen in future, God's forbid, if this situation continues for 1 more month, 2 more months, obviously courts are going to do video chats, and Supreme Court is already doing for critical matters. The judges are now going through the Zoom sessions and other protective measures of online video conferencing, and they are doing it, right? But there is a very good company. It is called Center of Online Dispute Resolution, which is getting incubated in my law firm. You go to, it is called CODR. If you go to their thing, you just need to log in your precedents, your templates for writing those judgments and pronouncements, case laws, everything they are building online now. And that is the future, and we are seeing the exact things on that also.
Right. Great. Awesome. Uh, Hopefully there will be a better acceptability also of this right now, because there was a time when we tried. It was, I guess, hardly we tried building an online arbitration system, and we got a lot of companies. It was not difficult to get companies onboarded, but when disputes started coming, then we got a lot of, we didn't onboard too many contracts. We want to see how it will be taken by the court system, and we got a lot of pushback. They're just so unhappy that how can you do this? This makes no sense. Like how can you do online arbitration?
When
Why
was,
would
when was that?
this was not long back actually. This was 2017. Yeah.
So I think the legal technology, the tipping point came in 2018 and 19. $2 billion got invested in legal tech sector across the world.
Right.
974 companies got funding from $2 billion of funding to just innovate legal tech.
Right.
So
Right.
this is the right time. Any one of you, like I mean, say some of the lawyers, I get calls. We are done with law. We are done. Guys, come join the technology companies, become
Yeah.
part of tech companies, and learn tech, because that's the future. That's a clear-cut future. Now, I cannot say it is 2021, 2022, but those in a game for long time, when we again meet, whenever in 2 years or 3 years time, you please keep watching where Algo Legal's trajectory is going to go. We are
Uh,
obviously into this for long term game, and we want to transform the system. We lose many clients because they say, boss, just give us simple document, what is this tech engine login and all those things. We do one off deal, but we are not going to go with them for long term basis.
right. Right. Uh, there's a question. Latesh is asking if this video is going to be available post the session. Yes, it will be uploaded on YouTube as well. There's a question on law as a profession works on codified set of rules and regulations since time immemorial. What are the chance of AI taking over legal sector to the extent that need of human resources carved? This is by Atif. I think you answered this question a little bit already,
And I
but if
get
you,
why the name Algo Legal, because he said codified set of rules. Algorithm is nothing, it is a codified set of rules. So when I see a particular act, section 3 writes down the applicability, extent, and all, works on that simplified codified principle. And that's how law can work into that. And next thing is Algo Legal. That's what we are trying to do.
right, right. And just to add that, I have spoken to a lot of AI experts, and you can confirm this. The idea is that yeah, there is some things that are getting automated, but higher skill set and the lawyering that requires really application of mind is not automated. So you can, just to give an example, if we have virtual courts right now in India, then there would be a lot of lawyers who basically exist and earn money only because they run around the courts and file documents. Okay, but those jobs will go away because if there is automation. Similarly, when I was in a law firm, if four people are needed to do a due diligence, now with the software you might need only one. So those three jobs are gone. But sometimes the nature of jobs are that jobs get created elsewhere, right? So new tech now there's when I was there was no technology law practice. Now technology law practice is a big area. So there would be new jobs, but I mean, it's basically very it would be difficult going forward to earn a livelihood by doing simple repeatable tasks, right? By filling out forms, by you know and in the US even now lawyers earn so much money just by filling a form. They'll fill a form for you and charge like $1,000, like, and there are such things in India as well, but those things may not be around. You have to really learn good skills. And then, so Sandeep, what do you say?
No, absolutely, because as you're rightly saying, only disagreement is those three jobs will not be lost if we are making ourselves prepared. If the diligence was done by four lawyers on a tool, it will be done by one or two lawyers, but other two lawyers at the parallel would also be getting trained to do financial diligence also. Because taxation, because what is happening, if you see E&Y and others have started their basic law firms or legal processing services, I really want to start testing the lawyers on the financial side. My team, many of them can read balance sheet, analyze financial information. The crossing over into other professions is going to be very important. Or within our profession,
Even within law there is so much teamwork, right? There's
absolutely right. I'm scared of litigation, but today if my tool is summarizing the entire judgment for me, I know how to read a legal document. For me to summarize something for my client, which my tool has already done, tool has given the applicability, as we call the ratio decidency is given to me. I can look at the ratio and I can tell, yeah, this judgment also came up. The skills are going to be enhanced by technology. The extra time, if I know how to use, and my starting point is all technology. I have asked, I because my documents are stored properly, tech is on top of it. I have applied an application of abstraction of the summary of all the documents. Then I can analyze and go quickly, and I can go into a negotiation room faster than other people who don't know how to use technology, right? Because that's what a first year associate, some of the interns who have trained from our law firm, they come back and they tell us that their own skills in other law firms, they are way ahead of others because of the research they are able to do, the contract management and procedures they are able to do. uh, these are the actual skills which are going to change, but I don't think jobs are going to go anywhere, guys. If you're not interested in law firm, you're not interested in mainstream law, start talking to ALSP, all these LPOs which are coming. We talk them LPO because it looks so processing unit. No, they are doing some great job. They are doing tons of research. They are writing loads of documents. Legal tech companies like Kira, Luminance today are valued to $2 billion, are hiring lawyers across the board. So that all is happening.
great. So there's a question from Rajesh Ghosh. How do you think a non-tech person can update his technology knowledge in the arena of legal tech firm? What are the areas to focus on?
So as I said, if you are using your phone, you can use some apps using technology. Legal technologies are very easy. We don't need to, when we go and listen to certain lectures, they say AI, machine learning. most of my lawyers friend, their mind start becoming shut down. It is not that. Think of just a storage. Can I pick up my files and put them online in a structured way? That itself is a first very basic step of learning technology, which is a storage technology.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a engine which says put the document. Can you pick up a document and put into a contract generation engine which can do the summary of that document, because it is already trained to look into
Yeah.
limitation of liability.
Mm.
It is trained to read certain words. It's just that when you start using it, you will realize if you can use WhatsApp, you can use legal technology.
Right. So if I what if I suggest this, that maybe you can simply go to, you can identify the top legal technology companies around the world. You go to their website, request a demo, and just see a demo.
And demo
Even
is
that.
there on their website. These videos are already there. You please go to Quant Legal Tech's website. The demo of compliance engines are already there. And still, their salespeople are hungry. They need loads of lawyers. They need validation from all of you free of cost.
Yeah. So by seeing a demo, also you will learn a lot about what technologies are there, what is coming up, and how you can equip yourself. I think that's
And
a
only other thing is little bit of reading. There are legal technology books written by lawyers. That means they belong to our profession, so it's not
hmm,
very technically challenging books. Plain English, simple processes. Just keep reading those.
excellent. So next question is, can you suggest some ideas on legal tech or software to lawyers? I mean, I think he wants ideas for developing tech or developing software. I'm not sure. Why don't you clarify your question, Rohin? There's Advocate Rajiv Raj Purohit. Can you give information for litigation lawyer for lower court with corporate law firm, and how to start? Basically, how to get into a corporate law firm for those who are practicing in a lower court. Any comments on that?
I think one thing which corporate lawyers need is diligence, due diligence on the litigation side. This question comes, Ramanuj. It's very important question, and the answer is very blunt. And I hope that I think I lost you. Are you there? I can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm there.
Okay. So I'm saying this answer is very blunt, because if you are making, let's say, X amount of money as a litigating lawyer, you want to change a stream and go to corporate lawyer. If you're willing to take certain amount of cut, you're willing to, use case analysis, you want to show that yes, this is what my use in your firm is going to be. There are corporate law firms which are very happy to take it. Now, please don't think that the top tier law firms will take you immediately. It's the thing you need to build up from the scratch, and you can slowly galvanate into those kind of roles.
Yeah, you have to start by learning the work that is happening in a corporate law firm, and we speak to a lot of people who want to get into corporate law firms. Yesterday, I was speaking to somebody, and he is practicing with a advocate on record in Delhi, and he says that I want to work in a tier one law firm. So I asked him that, okay, great, but do you know what these tier one law firms do? And he didn't know. He doesn't know what tier one law firms do. And the answer is that I'm going to find out. So I find out everything. I'll find this out also. Like, okay, that's great, but you have to understand that there are, everybody wants these jobs. A lot of people want, not everybody, but a lot of people want these jobs, right? And if you're competing for it, it's not even tier one also. Even if it is tier three or whatever tier law firm, are you useful to them? What value do you bring on table? There is too much mindset that people will hire me and they are supposed to teach me. Like, I have gone to law school, I've got my law degree, now I'm entitled that people will hire me and pay me and teach me and everything. That doesn't happen. So if you want to work in a law firm, we have training programs at Lawsikho. Might be able to help you out. Check it, like talk to one of our counselors. So you will see. I mean, the starting point is learning some of the basic skills like contract drafting, due diligence, compliances. You should know what documents look like, how various kind of contracts look like, what the clauses look like, and then you might work. You can work with startups. You help out people for free. I learned in my school, law college. I was already doing venture capital deals, helping startups for free, sometimes charging money, but in the end of the day, that got me started, right? So you can also start like that anytime. There are enough people who cannot afford legal representation. You can start helping them out. And when you go and tell a law firm that, look, this is what I've already done. It doesn't matter that you've done it for free, but you have done it. So at least they know that you have a track record to show that you probably have a chance of succeeding for them in the organization.
And other thing is, you want to do corporate. There are a lot of online corporate courses. These like Lawsikho, USA courses. I did my law and CS together, company secretary. As a result, I hedged my both things together. And doing for lawyers to do CS is not very difficult. I mean, say, of course, it requires hard work, but you have to change. Many times people don't even know. I started my career with a criminal lawyer in Patiala House Court.
Right,
I
right.
eventually
Hmm.
reached there and I realized this is not for me. And then I joined, nobody hired me as a lawyer. I joined as a company secretary, assistant company secretary in an in house team. From there, one day the lawyer left. So they said, can you look into cases? 138 negotiable instrument act cases. I started looking into that for 2 years. Then I became a trademark consolidate attorney for Envexi Laboratories. From there, when Vash Associates was building up their corporate team, I took 60% pay cut and I said, please hire me because I was company secretary. Please hire me as a CS in your team. From there, one thing to the other. And today I have one of the best corporate law firms and I did the best in-house job. So it all
Right.
depends on what kind of risk you want to take and you want to, change the.
Right, and also it's not as difficult probably today. Like if somebody wants to learn, the knowledge is much more accessible, right? So the knowledge and the information and the connections, everything is so much more available than it used to be. Great. So let's see if there's any other question. Please ask Sandeep about some good affordable software tools available at present for small law firms. Any suggestions on that?
Tons of them are available. It's very difficult to say like this. I will send you an offline list. You should, go with
Sure, sure. I'll circulate it with all
problem
of
is that many of my friends don't want to spend even 1,000 rupees per month also on the software tools. That's the problem, yeah. Because when they say everything is free, now companies who are developing these softwares, they also need to charge few things. Board meeting tools are available for 500 rupees per month. Compliance tool is available for 1,500 rupees per month for unlimited compliance scanning
you.
them.
Right, right.
So there are multiple. So I'll send you Ramanuj a list and list of books which you must
Sure,
read.
sure.
One research
Yeah,
about
happy to do that.
videos which are there on YouTube, which people in today's time.
Maybe we can do another session sometimes where you talk about some of your favorite tools, and like, that could be
I
an
can
idea.
do a demo. I can do things. I can show live what we are doing. We can definitely do those things. Happy to do.
Sure, sure. Let's do this sometimes. So that answers Rajesh's next question also. Suggest some websites or software to be learned by law students that will be useful for the future. Same thing. Go and check out all the legal tech companies. Get a demo at least from them.
I'll send you the links. Let them
Yeah,
start.
yeah.
Don't
Sure.
keep everything easy for them. Let
Yeah.
them go through that transformation.
Great, great. We'll do this. Great. So I think these are all the questions. I'll see if there are any hands up in the air quickly. No, nothing. Nobody's asking any questions. All right. So I think that brings us towards the end of our session. Sandeep, any quick? So I think some questions. There's a question on an engineer with legal background can work on to get a foothold in legal tech firm. You know, take this. What opportunities are there for engineers?
There, so the question is, anyone engineering legal background, can they get into the legal tech firm, right? Yeah,
Hmm.
guys, people, legal tech firms are looking for engineers with a legal background. You are a premium resource there. They would, in fact, love to send this person offline to me, ask him to,
Yeah.
and we can start the interview next 1 hour or by tomorrow. This time interview would have happened. You're a premium resource. If you are
Yeah.
lawyers who have engineering background, you are a premium resource in this market.
And I must say same thing for lawyers who have marketing skills and lawyers who have good management skills and all of that.
Absolutely. And that's what I said, business, right? Marketing, HR, lawyers as HR today are so much in demand. Every company is asking, can I do late work? Can I take out people? So cross skilling is so important today. lawyers with financial knowledge who can read balance sheet and all. It's not a rocket science to read a balance sheet. If you can manage
Yeah.
your you can manage your family's expenses, you can read a balance sheet today. So this is the time to get into that.
Right. Right. There are a bunch of people now want to ask questions. Let's take a few.
I have call in 3 minutes, so I can take some more.
Okay, one question we'll take, and that's it. Rajat, you're on, please.
Yes. Hi, Sandeep. Amazing session taken by you. Now it is completely eye opener. Uh, in the paucity of time, I'll simply ask: do you suggest any kind of a software, whether it is paid or whatever? So it can summarize 150-page judgment, and it can give the crux, not only the summary. So so something like that. And uh, do you think that in coming years, uh, only lawyers' work will be only advisory work, as you have told that those people who are not taking help of technology will be lag behind, and those who will only be using technology and advisory services will be uh, highly demanded in the market?
So that is the
That's my
first
question.
question. There is a tool called Voltage, which is available, which is today summarizing documents once you train it. They have started now working on the legal judgments training, but there's an international tool called Tira, which is very, very expensive, which for $1,000 for any court. Now, $1,000 in US context, and it's a US and Canada based software which is there. They are now launching, and right now the work is going on for Indian court system to summarize Tira's team and Voltage. There are three other companies at a very early stage which are now extracting informations from the court records. So that is one. Now, second thing, the second question which you was there, that the role of the lawyer will be only advisory. Yes, advice is always going to be there, but to give that advice, the inculcation of those tools, adopting those tools is going to be very important. Or the tool you are saying, and I'm assuming assuming you are from litigation background. Now imagine when you are going to meet your client and you have come to know this is a case relating to Transfer of Property Act, section XYZ, and this is a proposition. Now, those
Mhm.
tools are getting ready in 6 months to 12 months' time, where you put a proposition for Contract Act, for Companies Act, the tool is already ready. Beta testing is going on. So, let's say you
Great.
raise a question that how to do a right issues under Companies Act. You put a question and answer comes out of there. You have the answer without even opening your Ramayas or any other book, and you are going there directly to the client. That is how the advice role of yours is going to change. In a day, you are going to give multiple advice, and you don't need to meet now clients physically. Again, we when we talk about technology, we forget the modern tech usage. Many law firms don't even have it. Without naming, I can tell you, when this COVID situation came, law firms are hiring taxis to send desktops to their associates' homes, right? So
Great.
even that amount of technology is also not there. But your role in my view is time has already come. We have missed the bus. There's a If you go to Legally India, 2 years ago I published that we all have missed the bus where we have not incorporated technology. I feel now we have definitely missed the bus if we are not using tech-based things to solve our problems.
Great. You can just send across everything to Ramanuj. It will be a great thing. And I think Ramanuj will do one more session with you, and maybe
Yep.
he can
Yep.
develop a big course with you. It's been amazing eye opener. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for the feedback.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Ajay. So I think we need to let Sandeep go. Thank you so much, Sandeep. Will not hold you off for your call. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for joining. Great session. Looking forward for more. And everybody have a great evening. Take care.
Guys, stay safe and healthy. Thank you, Ramanuj, for having me here. Everyone should stay safe and healthy, and we will have a face-to-face session sometime, inshallah. Take care.
Yes. Thank you. Bye bye.